and when he stood among the Achaeans, no one could doubt.
My lord, the lady comes. My heart knows you, child. Your face, your hands, the lift of your eyes, so like your father.
They call me Helen of Troy. I am the reason the sea brims with their ships, they say. Yet standing here, I feel only the wind and the weight of eyes I cannot see. One woman.
Lord Menelaus, who are you these strangers in our hall?
I have returned, though I am not welcome.
So were there Black Greeks? Would it be possible for there to be a Black Helen of Troy? Conceptually, is there anything wrong with Lupita Nyong'o or Nyong'o being Helen of Troy? Conceptually, based on the actual artifacts that exist related to ancient Greece, there were people in Greece whose pigmentation ranged from Ethiopian, which originally means burnt skin in ancient Greek, to fair-skinned. The main issue with Lupita playing a character in the Nolan movie, or Lupita playing specifically Helen of Troy, is the ancient Greek words of Homer. So Helen of Troy is described by many different people, but we would say that the authoritative approach to Helen of Troy would be Homer, and how he described her at one point is as white-armed. Homer did describe in the Iliad, in Iliad 3.121, I believe that's chapter 3. I'm very rusty. So here's a passage from ancient Greek where he describes Iris daut Elene leuko leno agelos elten. And essentially, the leukin leno, this is describing her having white arms. So Lupita could not have white arms. So I'm just gonna leave us with some pictures of some of the diversity in Greece. Some people are going to misnomer some of these people as African, but the pictures I'm actually showing you are of Greeks. But that said, like the video was making a point mainly about Lupita, and Lupita as Helen of Troy, just based on the actual writing itself. I don't know if it works based on the writing itself, which doesn't really make a determination about ancient Greece itself. And my video is not about ancient Greece itself. I just added these pictures of actually very swarthy Greeks to just show that there was quite a bit of diversity in ancient Greece itself. And the people I show are indigenous
History likes to
Greeks.
pretend that civilizations appear suddenly. Athens, Sparta. Philosophers arguing in marble courtyards, but civilizations almost never arrive fully formed. They grow like forests. Beneath the visible trunks lie older roots, tangled deep in the soil of time. Long before what we call Greece existed, the lands of the Aegean were already alive with people. Seafarers, farmers, traders, and builders moved among the islands and coastlines thousands of years before Homer's epics were sung. One of the earliest great cultures rose on the island of Crete. Today we call them the Minoans, named after the legendary king Minos. Around 3000 BCE, these people were already building complex cities with multi-story palaces, colorful frescoes, and intricate plumbing systems. Their ships crossed the Aegean and the eastern Mediterranean, carrying pottery, olive oil, and textiles to distant shores. The Minoans were masters of the sea. Their culture was vibrant, artistic, and mysterious. They wrote in scripts that scholars still struggle to fully understand, such as Linear A. Their palaces, especially the sprawling complex at Knossos, were so vast and labyrinthine that later Greek storytellers may have transformed memories of them into the myth of the labyrinth and the Minotaur. But Crete was only part of the story. On the Greek mainland, Another civilization emerged that would inherit and transform much of the Minoan world. These were the Mycenaeans, warrior kings who built fortified cities like Mycenae, Tiryns, and Pylos. Massive stone walls surrounded their citadels, walls so huge that later Greeks believed giants must have built them. Unlike the seafaring elegance of the Minoans, Mycenaean society was more militarized. Their rulers commanded armies, built chariots, and filled their graves with gold masks, weapons, and treasure. The Mycenaeans adopted elements of Minoan culture, including writing, transforming it into a script we call Linear B, which recorded an early form of the Greek language. These were the people behind the legends of Agamemnon, Achilles, and the Great War at Troy. Stories passed down through centuries until they became the epics attributed to Homer. Yet even the Mycenaeans were not the first people in the land. Before them came waves of Neolithic settlers, farmers who arrived thousands of years earlier from Anatolia and the Near East. They brought agriculture, domesticated animals, pottery, and the first permanent villages to the Greek peninsula. Over generations, these communities mixed with local hunter-gatherers and developed distinct regional cultures across the Aegean. Civilization in Greece, then, was not born in a single moment. It was layered. Each generation inherited the bones of the one before it. The palaces of Crete influenced the kings of Mycenae. The Mycenaean world collapsed around 1200 BCE, plunging the region into a long period of upheaval, often called the Greek Dark Age. Yet even that collapse did not erase the past. Memories survived in myth, in ruins, in songs carried by wandering poets. Centuries later, the classical Greeks, those who built the Parthenon, debated philosophy and founded democracy, stood on ground already shaped by 2,000 years of earlier cultures. The Greece that history remembers was the visible peak of a much older mountain. Beneath it lay the forgotten builders of Crete, the warrior kings of Mycenae, and the first farmers who crossed the sea with seeds, animals, and the quiet determination to begin again on new land. Civilizations rarely begin. They accumulate.